Okay. Hello, hello. I assume I'm live because I cannot see the stream actually. I can only see my own screen. So, okay. So I'm Pelicularities, and I will be running Ridiculous Fishing, which is an iOS game from 2013. And we can talk about the game during the run, so let's just get started. And this is Billy. He fishes like a champ, and time starts when we cast the line for the first time. So on count of 3, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so the mechanics of the game are very simple. We avoid fish on the way down because this is ridiculous fishing, and so we don't fish normally. And once we hit a fish or we run out of fishing line, the line will start ascending, and we catch as many fish as we can on the way up. And once we break the surface, we shoot the fish. And I have just lost game audio, which I assume is the case for everybody else as well, which happens quite often when streaming from AirPlay, which is what this is. So give me a second, let me reconnect it, and we should get game audio back. Yes, okay. So unfortunately that happens quite a bit. Hopefully it doesn't happen too often, but I will just call it out if it does. So the way that the game controls work is that every speedrunner's best friend, the game, uses motion controls and touch controls. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you tilt your iPhone, or in my case, the iPad, to control the line, and you tap on the fish to shoot them. There is a remake of this game called Ridiculous Fishing EX, which can be played with the controller, but it is terrible to play with this with the controller. It is really designed for motion and touch controls, right? Okay, so we are going to buy a few more things to help us to fish ridiculously. So what I just bought was a chainsaw. And why would you use a chainsaw when fishing? That's because you want to be able to saw through fish on the way down. Oh, that's a mistake. That is not supposed to happen. Okay. Anyway, that's fine. The thing about ridiculous fishing as a speedrun is that if you think about the game mechanics, right, 2 out of 3 parts of it is basically auto-scrollers. So how do you speedrun this game? Well, this game consists of 3 main levels. Right now, the level that we are in is called Home Waters, and it is 300 meters deep. There are 2 more levels, which are at 500 and 700 meters respectively. And those 2 levels, right? Well, actually, all 3 levels have a boss fish at the bottom of the level. So any percent, right, is the category that ends when you catch the boss fish at the bottom of the 3rd level. So a lot of the routing revolves around earning enough money to buy the line that lets you reach the bottom of Arctic Flows, which is the 3rd level. Alright, so you can see that I bought the 100 meter line. Next we will buy the 200 meter line, which costs 250 meters. $250, sorry. And the goal on each cast is basically to just, either earn money or reach the bottom of the level. Okay, let's see. So the number that I'm looking for here, right, the amount of money that I'm looking for here is $500, which will let us buy the 300 meter line and reach the bottom of Home Waters. Whoops, okay. That's fine, because we will also catch fish on the way up. So one mechanic that I have not mentioned, but that is important, is that you'll see that on the left I have a fuel gauge. That determines how much I can use the chainsaw. So I nearly finished using up the fuel just now, and we will need to... The fuel gauge restores on every run, but you can kind of buy more fuel, right, to have more fuel available to you during each cast. Okay, so we have our $500, but that just means that we can reach the bottom of home waters. And for most of the run, we will just be saving up money. So because I've caught 6 different types of fish, I've unlocked Stormy Seas, but we will not go there yet. We still have unfinished business in here. Alright, and I have my 300-meter line to get to the bottom of home waters. So on this cast, my goal is to get as deep as possible and catch the boss fish. So for any percent, there is no requirement that, whoops, my bad. There is no requirement in any percent to get all the boss fish except the one at the end of the 3rd level. But the current any percent record is also the all bosses record. Well, to be specific, I'm the only person who seems to be running all bosses, so there's that. But the any percent route really goes through all the bosses because the requirements for earning money are actually quite high, and catching the bosses is the fastest way to earn money. So let's try again, shall we? And we will try and hit the bottom of home waters at 300 meters. And let's okay. I do want to conserve fuel because I will need fuel to get through the last about 50 meters or so for reasons that will become very clear once you see them. There are all these jellyfish. We want to avoid jellyfish because jellyfish will actually cost you money. And also there are these piranha fish. If you come within their trigger area, they will start moving towards you. So this is why we need to save some fuel, because the last 20-30 meters are completely dark. It turns out that there is no light at the bottom of the ocean. And okay, you saw a little bit of that, I think. Near the bottom, what I do is I just wave my iPad wildly and hope that I catch the fish at the bottom. So this boss fish is known as the narwhal, and it is worth $800, which will be very helpful for us moving into the next level. That said, on the way up, I'm still trying to catch as many fish as possible because the next line that we have to buy is $2,000, and the line after that we have to buy is $7,000. There are also a bunch of other things that we want to pick up because of marathon safety, basically, which is something that I will talk about once I am done shooting as many fish as I can. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this phase, basically what I'm doing is I am just tapping my iPad a lot. And here we are with the boss fish, which is $800. And yes, we have enough for our next phase. Okay. So now, it seems like what I should buy is the 500-meter line, but before that, I'm going to buy a lamp. And the reason is home waters is the only level where we can do that, hit the bottom without having a lamp. In Stormy Seas, it's impossible because you have to go a full about 200 meters without any light, and that's just not going to happen. So the amount I'm trying to save up now is $2,000, right, to buy the 200-meter line that will let us hit the bottom of Stormy Seas. But there are also a number of other items that we will definitely be buying for, like I said, for marathon safety. So let me talk about that now while we do this auto-scroller ascent. So the world record for this category is 26 minutes and 32 seconds, but you will notice that the estimate for this run is 40 minutes. And that's because there is a high amount of variability in this run, in this game in general. Basically, everything that you do is every decision that you're making here is a trade-off in terms of time, right? You can... okay. Alright. Give me a second. Alright. So, yeah. Every decision that you are making here is a trade-off in terms of like money and time. And there are a lot of things, there are a lot of ways that you can kind of cut corners and hope to finish the game faster, but it's not very reliable, right? So if you look at a PB attempt, what is going to happen is you are going to try and minimize the amount of fuel that you use. You are going to, you know, reset if you hit a fish early like that. But obviously that's not possible in a marathon run. So we are going to, along the way, pick up quite a few items that will give us a higher chance of making it to the bottom without losing too much time. Okay, so we are actually doing quite well, all things considered. Oh, there we go. All right. So for this phase, what I am trying to do is I'm trying to save money for a few different items. We already have our 500 meter line, but I plan to pick up a fuel tank, which will increase the amount of fuel that we can use. I will also be picking up a toaster, a spring, and a machine gun. What do these things have to do with fishing? I'll explain as I pick up these items. But I'm not sure which ones we will pick up. It depends on how much money I have at the end of this round. So let's see. 488. Probably the first one I will want to pick up is the fuel tank, followed by the toaster. So the fuel tank is $800. Whoops. Okay. Actually, no, I take that back. I'll probably pick up the machine gun first, actually, considering how this is going. So, the machine gun will let me shoot faster, for one, and secondly, not have to constantly tap these fish. I will be able to just hold and drag, which is a humongous quality of life improvement, and it also helps a lot during some of the later stages. 3-8. Okay, no, that's not quite enough. That's not quite enough. Okay, I'll go fuel tank first, and then I will be a little bit short for the machine gun, but we'll see. Okay, I'm still trying to get as deep as possible. If we can get to the bottom, that will be very nice, but I don't really expect it. Okay, and you can see that the fuel gauge in the left, that has increased quite a bit. We will not be getting any more fuel than this, so that's the only concession that I'm making for the speedrun. Right, if you were to play the game casually, you can get way more fuel. You can kind of see in the UI that there's a lot of room for the fuel gauge to grow, but we won't have any of that. So let's see, we are hitting 300. So all the fish have slightly different behavior. We've already seen the piranha, we've seen that pink fish, the angler fish. It moves downwards. There's also the goldfish, which, oh my goodness, okay, running low on fuel. Let's see if we can hit the boss. Okay, I think I'm gonna make it. Cool. Very nice. Okay, so this is very good actually. As we ascend, we are going to pick up those fish and those. The unfortunate thing is because I actually don't have the machine gun, I'm going to have to tap my way through this through this shooting section, which is I'll survive. All right. Okay. So that blue fish that I avoided there, it's actually very important to avoid that fish because it's slow. That fish is $250, which you would think is very good considering we have such high resource gathering requirements, but that fish also spawns a lot of low value fish, so it makes the shooting phase very, very slow, which we definitely want to avoid. Okay. Now, I hope I don't get carpal tunnel from doing this. Let's shoot. So you'll see that there are a lot of jellyfish, a lot of jellyfish that I did not catch. Where are these jellyfish coming from? Well, the answer is the boss from the bottom of the ocean is spawning these jellyfish. And you cannot shoot the boss until you have shot all the other non-jellyfish fish. So we will do our best to get all these. Oh my goodness. We'll do our best to get all these fish quickly and then pick up the jellyfish boss. Come on. Let's go. Crabs are $45, so they are quite good, but they take a lot of hits to shoot, as you can imagine, because they are crabs. Okay. Alright, nearly there. Okay, one more, and yes, there we go. Very nice. So we have a bunch of money for some of these quality of life improvements. And then we also have unlocked the Arctic flows. So let's pick up these improvements. First the Uzi, then we will get a spring, and we will also buy a toaster. And the next thing that I will aim for is the 700 meter line. Okay, so why do you need a toaster to go fishing? Well, the idea behind the toaster is that it will electrocute the first fish that you hit on the way down. And so it basically serves as a second chance in case you hook a fish that you didn't mean to catch. Don't ask too many questions. It's ridiculous fishing. That's just the way that it is. The other question that you may have is, since we've already made it to the bottom of home waters and the bottom of stormy seas, and you know there is a boss fish at the end of both of those levels, why don't we just farm the bosses for money? The answer is, got a jellyfish there. The answer is, it's only worth that much money the first time you catch the boss or kill the boss, right? In subsequent, if you go back to home waters and you catch the boss again, it's only worth $150 instead of $800, which is what it was worth the first time. If you go to stormy seas and you try and pick up that boss a second time, it's only worth $400 instead of $2,000. So we are better off just coming here and spending the time in Arctic flows to try and save our $7,000. Okay, so basically this section is just saving money. Nothing much to say about the level itself. There are a couple of things that are worth pointing out. On this level, I don't know if we'll see it again, but there is a fish called a boost goose. I don't think I will see it again. We are past the depth where we'll see it. So I'll mention the booscoos again when we see it. And then there are these snails that in the game are actually called houseboats. I don't know why. If you're playing this game casually, you can buy a fishing encyclopedia for $30. It will tell you the name of all the fish. We are not doing that, but the fish all have very strange names. Like this one is, this blue fish, I think it's like blue Pete or something. The snails are houseboats, as I've mentioned. And then I can't think of any other fish names right now, so if you are curious, I suggest you pick up the game. It's a few bucks on the App Store and then find out for yourself. Okay. Alright. We will need a few more casts to hit 7,000, I think. We are very far from 7,000 at the moment. Okay. So you can see that with the machine gun, life is way better. It's just much faster to shoot everything, and I am just dragging my Apple Pencil across the screen instead of tapping on every single fish. Okay. Alright. There is... Okay, I have the spring equipped, so I don't have to buy anything. I didn't talk about the spring and what the spring does. Basically, the spring throws the fish up in the air higher, and it makes them less likely to fall back into the ocean. So it is a good way of helping you to save money or accumulate money faster. Okay. Let's see. As we descend here, probably one thing that is worth mentioning is I'm playing this game on an iPad. So I think it was designed as an iOS game for mobile phones, for the mobile phone form factor. But the reason to play it on an iPad as opposed to an iPhone is that the game doesn't have a fixed game resolution. So the game resolution depends on your device, which means that on an iPad, you have more room to work with, you have more space to maneuver, which is extremely helpful. Okay. Alright, let's go. And another nice bonus is that then I can use an Apple Pencil, which, is a quality of life improvement. So that flash that you saw there, that was actually the toaster activating because I think I hit a fish. Oh, alright. Okay, so that fish with the blue back, with the dark blue fin on top, I'll point it out again if we see one. That is the boost goose, and it speeds up the ascent. There we go, there's one. There are not that many ways to speed up the descent or the ascent, so it's useful to... Yep, boost goose, okay. So it's useful to catch the boost goose on the way up. The trade-off, of course, is that now you have extra fish to shoot. So sometimes it makes a lot of sense, other times it doesn't. It's very context dependent. Okay. Alright. Okay, so we'll try and make 7,000. We will definitely make 7,000, I think, on this one. Oh, come on. Come on. Alright. Let's see. there's probably quite a lot that I can say about, you know, what kind of fish to catch and how the camera follows the fish. The camera completely ignores the jellyfish, for example, which is something that we can take advantage of if you make a mistake and you need to try and recover some time back. But in this particular case for us, it's mostly relevant if if you've made a cast, right? But you didn't reach your target. So let's say I'm trying to fish for the boss, but I didn't make it to the bottom, and there is nothing else that I can do in between, right? There is no thing that I'm trying to save for, or any other like alternate goal that I can go for. In that case, then yes, I will try and focus on catching jellyfish on the way up in order to save time during the shooting phase. But for us now, we have our 700 meter line. So from this point on, my main goal is just to hit the boss at the bottom of this level, right? There is one more item that we can potentially try and get, again for marathon safety, and that is the hairdryer. That costs 2,300, and it basically functions like a second toaster, right? It will be used before the toaster, and it will electrocute any fish that it hits. But it is not strictly necessary, so we will only pick it up if we need to, or if there are multiple failures and we actually save up enough money to get it. So this is where the high variability of the run comes in. Usually it will take a few tries before we actually successfully hit the bottom. And the number of casts it takes before we reach the bottom will really determine how this run goes. Alright, I'm running low on fuel. Very low. No fuel actually. Okay, so I ran out of fuel before I could make it to the bottom, which is unfortunate. So now, because I actually don't need any more money, which is something I wish I could say in real life, because I don't need any more money, I am going to try and avoid fish on the way up, or I will focus on catching jellyfish, right? Because jellyfish don't slow you down during the shooting phase. So that kind of explains the route that I'm taking on the way up. I'm avoiding all fish other than jellyfish as much as possible, or boost goose. The boost goose are still probably worth picking up. Okay, there we go. Alright. Nope. Alright, cool. Okay. All good. 100. Oh, I hate the houseboat sections. Alright, there we go. Home free. Okay, we do still need to shoot the fish that we have. One question that you might have is, since we don't care about the fish anymore, we don't really need the money, right? As I mentioned, is it faster to shoot the fish or to let them fall? And the answer is, it is always faster to shoot the fish once you have caught them. Letting them fall is very, very slow. I'm actually not sure how they balanced it, but the game doesn't really let you kind of the game tries its best to help you shoot the fish. Let's put it that way. So yes, it is faster to shoot the fish than to let them fall, because the game does not want the fish to fall into the ocean. Okay, now we have our hairdryer, and we'll make another attempt to get to the bottom. Oh, the hairdryer's gone. That was not very good. Oh, okay, now the toaster is also gone, so that's bad. Let's see if we can get to the bottom anyway. Okay, I'm going to go quiet except for screaming and panicking probably, because kind of need to focus. 300, 400. Okay, 400. Oh man. 500, but almost no fuel. All right. 600. 600. 650. Okay, here is our boss fish, and it does not look like what you would expect. Our boss fish, as it turns out, is a man in an ice coffin. Who is this guy? Why is he in an ice coffin at the bottom of the Arctic? Don't ask too many questions, it's ridiculous fishing. What will happen is when we shoot the coffin, right, and we defeat this boss fish, the credits will roll. There will be a short cutscene to explain that the man in the icy coffin at the bottom of the Arctic is actually Billy's father. And that's all the explanation that you're gonna get. So this is very good, actually. This is actually better than I think most of the practice runs that I did. So as you can see, again, I am mostly trying to pick up jellyfish on the way up and not any other fish. The other fish are just attaching themselves, not because I am trying to catch them actively. Okay, here we go. Oh my god, okay. Alright. And the reason that we are avoiding fish is just so that we don't have to shoot them, so it's faster. Alright. And now we shoot these fish so that we will be allowed to shoot the boss fish. You have to shoot all other fish before you can defeat the boss in each level where the boss appears. So, which is also why we try and minimize the other fish that we catch. Alright, and this is the reason that we really want a machine gun, because if you are tapping and tapping and tapping to defeat this fish that is not a fish, it's very miserable. Time does not end when the coffin explodes. I will call out when time ends. Okay. Alright. So time ends when you press this yellow button and time. Okay. So that is Ridiculous Fishing. Very entertaining game. Still available, even though it's 10 years old. It's still available on iOS, on the App Store, and on Android. If you have Apple Arcade, there is a remake of this game called Ridiculous Fishing EX. That is very faithful to the original game, so very worth playing in my opinion. And that is all for Ridiculous Fishing. I'm very happy to have come in underestimate. And yeah, that's it. And enjoy the rest of LSA.